Hello there everybody and welcome to show number 13. Thank you everybody for joining us. Also we have Centroid in the house. I was just working out where he was. He's down there. Do you want to say hello, Centroid?
Hello, Centroid.
Yes, so thank you everybody for joining us. I'm not sure what numbers are going to be like tonight because I've been a bit lazy promoting and whatnot. I've got a few other things going on. I'm a little bit busy. Don't care. This show's going to be great for the people who are here. Thank you everyone for joining us. Let me just have a quick roll call because there's some very good names in the chat and I just want to make sure everybody gets a hello. If you don't know the format of the show, we try and stick to about an hour. We might run over. Who knows? We try and do as many of the best, greatest, most recent, relevant drone news stories. We had our own little hot takes and everything in there. We have a laugh with people in the chat. And yeah, it's just a damn good time, basically.
And sometimes we can run under an hour. That's if one of us doesn't show up.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm not in the stream, like last week. Yeah, I do apologise for that. I did hopefully make up for it with the Saturday night show. Saturday was a brilliant laugh. So if you haven't seen that, obviously go check it out. That was on Marc's channel. Every week we do this stream, Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 11 p.m. UK time. Wednesday nights, and it alternates on each other's channel. So I get the odds, Marc gets the evens, and obviously this is show 13, so we've been doing this for 13 weeks. That is 3 months and a week. Lovely stuff. If maths doesn't fail me, it shouldn't do. So yeah, let's have a quick roll call in the chat. I'm quite expressive with my hands tonight, and I don't know why. I've been drinking a lot of Coca-Cola, and I think it's the caffeine. I don't usually drink a lot of fizzy drinks or caffeine in general, so I'm a little bit more energetic than usual. I've not just woke up from a nap either, as much as Eagle VP wants to insist. So yeah, that's all good. Yeah. Oh look, and I'm forgetting my logo. You know what I mean? So I've got to put that on there. I'm forgetting my drone as well. It's just on the table. I will set that up in a minute. Yeah, let me just remedy that. Say hello, Marc. Say my mic. There we go. That should be a lot better. Okay. Right, let's have a quick roll call in the chat. But before we do, remember that channel supports. Tell everybody, you know what I mean? If you visit the channel, if you like what you see, tell them you've subbed. You don't have to use silly whatever. I don't care if you use the word sub or anything. It's not a support stream, but supports are very welcome, very encouraged. You know what I mean? If you like what you see, that's good. You know what I mean? I spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos, and I've met a lot of people. I enjoy watching their videos, and I want to encourage that sort of like, let's go, let's grow. Marc just loves that saying. So yeah, quick roll call then. I'm getting a bit sidetracked. Brant Aerials, Gary, I hope you're well, who's the first person in the chat. Thank you for joining us. And very soon I'll be making the RAF Grimsby history video, and I will be using a clip of your Lancaster footage that you've got, the Canadian Lancaster. And I'll also be doing my history of the Lancaster video with my own slideshow of making the model, which took just over a week. Right, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but hello Gary, I hope you're well. Paul Michael DB in the chat. Paul Michael David Bain, great to see you, mate. Awesome stuff. And he said in the chat that it's that's his night's entertainment sorted. Centroid's in the chat. If you haven't checked his channel, I have linked it in the stream description down below, and is also going to be in the chat as well, so that's all good. Eagle VP is back for a little bit more punishment. Last stream on Saturday, I did zing him a couple of times. A couple were a little bit over the mark, but it's, you know, it's a good job. I know Eagle anyway, like personally, in the real world, as it were, outside of YouTube and all that lot. And I like to think of us as good friends, so, you know, I know you haven't took it seriously, mate, so that's all good. So please excuse me if I carry on that trend tonight. He is ripping me a bit about being, you know, missing the stream last week, so got to throw a little bit back, you know what I mean, in your direction, mate. That's all good. Love My Drones is still counting down. Got to be back. He'll be back. Got to make it 5 days in a row. Yeah, that's all good, mate. I hope you come back. Thank you for joining us, even for a split second. It's all appreciated. Your Haunted Adventures in the chat. It's great to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us. much appreciated. I've been a guest on his panel several times, helped me meet a lot of great people. I'd highly recommend visiting his channel. He does haunted streams, visiting haunted locations. He does Let's Grow streams as well and all that lot. Very, very good bloke, and does great streams. I've spent a lot of time in there. EBR great to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us once again. There we go. I'm just catching my breath. That's good. I'm a little bit out of shape with this streaming thing. You know what I mean? I'm just firing it off all the time. There we go. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through. Fairball Kim, great to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us. And I think I've just covered the roll call. Please let me know in the chat if I missed anybody. Just scrolling through, I think that is everybody. But obviously, I've got a number on my screen of how many people are in, and I didn't realise that I'd read out that many names because I'm quite good at it now, and I've said my hellos really, really quick, so that's all good. Mark, would you like to say hello to anybody in particular?
We got all the classics in. I mean, we got the steadfast people. I mean, we got, like I said, Paul's in. I'm glad to see Murad's in. I hope you're doing well. And again, Eagle, Verbal. I mean, these are dedicated viewers, it seems like. So thank you, sir, so much for coming in. And I do have to say that if you didn't catch the Saturday night stream, Steve did premiere one of his videos that's definitely worth a watch. If you get a chance to go do that. In fact, he inspired me, and it all worked out well. I mean, he's premiering a video at the end of this show too. So trying that for the first time. So
Okay.
barely can hear you, my friend.
Well, one second, please, Eagle. You're very keen. Right, I've edged Mark's volume up to as high as it's going to go. It's redlining on OBS. It should be working absolutely fine. Mark's volume is low and echoey. Okay, let me just try and remedy that. Please let me know if Mark's sound is better. Please, Mark, shout into your mic. Yeah. Yes. Mark's volume should be absolutely fine. If not, I'll have to try a little quick remedy, which you know what I mean? I've got a little bit of OBS knowledge, but everything this end is reporting fine. That's cool. No better. Oh, okay. One second, please. 1 second. Let me just try something. Say hello, Mark. Say hello again,
from
mate.
Mark. Oh, hello.
There we go. That should be better. Let me just scroll through on each of the settings and make sure that is correct. Skype 1 is not there. One second, please. I don't understand why this is happening. You know what I mean?
They got it. It's good. They're saying good. They're saying good.
Okay, so
We're good. Woo-hoo!
Yes. But the thing is,
okay.
I'm getting a little bit confused. It's all good. Right, I'm just literally scrolling through settings now. Yes. Got to real loud? Yeah. The thing is, on this side of things, everything is reporting fine. All the sound was fine. I have no clue. Sometimes OBS gets a little bit funny. It also glitched out that little preview video as well. I'm not happy about that because that was Mark's own creation, and I like to make sure that's playing just fine. PD Tech, thank you for joining us just as Mark's volume went through the roof. Right.
Thanks, Ed. He wants you to mute me again. I'm feeling unloved.
Yeah, that's cool. Love My Drones says, can we mute him again? Put a 1 in the chat if you want Mark muting, and we'll. That's all good.
Oh, and Roger is in now.
Yeah,
hey, Roger, how you doing,
after
buddy?
the stream, like I say, as the stream comes to a close, Mark is going to attempt to premiere his latest video, and we'll see how that goes. Right. So Roger's in the chat. Canadian Drone Hub. What an absolute honour. I'm not kidding.
Yes.
Everybody in here who flies drones, I'm sure you know Roger already. Canadian Drone Hub. For people who don't know him, please go visit him. Honestly, streams like every day. Great panels, great drone chat all the time, and you meet loads of great people in there. A whole cross section of the YouTube community in there. It's really supportive. Brilliant. I don't think I can say it any better than that, actually.
No, not at all. And you were worried about tonight's attendance because you didn't advertise. We're up to 15.
Oh, wow. Yes. And I think I've
Well, now
glitched out
it's going
because I've
up and
only
down,
got
but we're
one
good.
like showing on my stream.
I-
So if you haven't hit the
I
like
see
button, please.
6.
It might be a glitch, right? But
Yeah, it's just to refresh the
Yeah,
page.
okay.
You're up to 9. You're up to 9.
okay. Navy Dogs Adventures.
good.
Thank you for joining us, mate. Here we go. Look, I can't let that wait any longer. Obviously, we're still just sort of keeping it ticking along because we've still got people coming in before we attack this first story. Mad Kiwi
Yes.
as well. Thank you. I met you. What was it? Saturday night on Marc's stream. You know what I mean? Blue Wrench is coming to all you guys. Awesome stuff. Darwin Digital.
Yes.
Also, thank you for joining us. Right. Shall I start the drone news story?
Before you start, I want to see if anybody can guess what you're going to talk about first tonight.
It begins with G. And and it involves the BBC.
Go for it.
BBC. You know, nearly swearing. I'm getting quite annoyed now by this BBC Gatwick thing. So I'm going to switch over then to me hosting, and I'm just going to make sure, just 1 second, that Marc's audio is in there, because let me have a quick look, because there we go. Marc, say hello, please.
Hello, please.
Okay, so everything is reporting fine this side. Please let me know if Marc's audio is correct, please. Yeah, because I've switched it over to the other one, and it's a little bit strange tonight. I don't know quite what's going on. Who knows? Hopefully it's fine. Okay, let me start this drone news story. Okay, so pop this in the chat. Boosh. There we go. So first story of the night, and it's one that is close to my heart. And this is a BBC News story, and I'm not going to give you my take on that. Marc's audio, not fine. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to switch over then to this one, because I know on this one, Marc's audio is fine. Okay, I believe so. Yeah, say hello, Marc.
Hello.
I've switched over to
Testing,
not
testing.
actually showing the article because I can't get the sound playing fine, and it's irritating me, and I can't fix it right now. But this article, I can still talk about it and read it. It's linked in the chat for you to check out. Let me just get that for you. Copy, repaste it in there. There we go. So John Lewis, a sort of high-end retailer, high street and all that lot in the UK, is now going to stop selling drones. This story is from 7 hours ago, UK time, you know what I mean? So for anybody living in the past or the future from my time zone, it's 7 hours from now. So this went out about 6 o'clock, something like that, 5 o'clock. And this says, John Lewis says it stopped selling drones in May amid concerns they were being misused by the general public. That's cool. Marc, please bring the hen into the chat. Last year's disruption at Gatwick Airport by drones in December. Gatwick Airport's coming up again, and it's the bloody BBC. And falling sales prompted its decision, the department store chain said. The disruption caused about 1,000 flights to be cancelled or diverted over a 36-hour period. A number of other airports have been forced to suspend flights due to drone activity, including Heathrow. Yes. Following the Gatwick drone security breach in December 2018, we made the decision to stop selling drones at John Lewis and Partners this year, said John Lewis, buying director of electricals and home technology, said Lawrence Mitchell. Sales were also in decline due to the growing number of restrictions around flying these devices in built-up areas around the country. With a whole list of other linked articles. Gatwick-bound plane forced to avoid high-risk drone. Facebook post flags illegal drone flight to police. Shooting drones out of the sky with phasers. Yes, that's cool. John Lewis previously stocked a range of drones, including several models by DJI, the world's biggest consumer drone maker, which were priced between £1,000 and £2,500. Paul Rigby, chief executive of Consortic, a UK drone solutions firm who advised the government on setting drone policy, said drone sales had fallen because there isn't that much for consumers to do with them. And then in quotes, if you are a consumer when you first get a drone, it's quite exciting. But unless you decide to join a club or get into racing, there's only so many times you can fly one before you get bored, he told the BBC. I disagree with that. Extremely disagree with that. If you find good places to fly, which there is many in the UK, but people aren't willing to travel more than 5 minutes down the road, there is a whole load of great spots for racing drones and camera drones, as I prove on my channel. You know what I mean? All legal flights, all absolutely fine, lovely stuff, right? So let me just flick over real quick while Mark doesn't need to say anything. That is the article right there, so up above there. There we go. And I'm back. I'm back to you, Mark. I just wanted to skip over there really quick. Yes. So this article is mentioning Gatwick again, and it gets my back up severely because there was no drones at Gatwick, but the BBC. You know, I nearly swore then because there is another way of saying that anagram in Britain, and it involves that stuff that comes out of a bull's backside. Yeah, so that is what they are called because they literally are not unbiased in any way. They are against drones. This has been proved many, many times over. So let me relink that article and then I'll catch up with the chat real quick. I realise it's been moving, but I wanted to cover that article quite extensively, as it were. That is the article, if you want to give the BBC some clicks. Obviously, credit where credit's due. So, John Lewis, the biggest, well, not the biggest, but one of the sort of higher up, you know, high-end retailers in the UK, has decided to stop selling drones in May because of Gatwick and Heathrow. Gatwick. I have gone over Gatwick so many times. The police have dropped the investigation. They've claimed it probably wasn't a drone. The police chief says, in charge of the investigation, probably wasn't a drone. They've put it as a cold case. No further leads. No. Well, there was arrests, but that was proven to be completely bollocks, as it were. And yeah, nothing came of that. The people actually sued the media outlets for covering the story too fast. Yes, and there's been no significant progress in charging anybody. Nobody's been charged with anything. Now, if this was like an open and shut case, somebody would have been done for it. They would have had one scrap of evidence to go on. There's no evidence, but you know, as you can see, obviously Gatwick, I still think, Mark, to this day, and everyone watching, Gatwick, that entire farce at Gatwick last December has been the most damaging thing to the UK drone flying community.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Because it's still,
and for no reason, no substantiated reason whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's still very,
annoying.
very prevalent to this day, with articles still coming out just without putting any evidence forward about Gatwick. It's just still being touted and just referenced as a drone attack, drone incident, whatever, with no proof there was ever a drone there. The only drones there were police drones looking for drones, and they couldn't find drones. What does that tell you?
Now, this, I don't know. And this person decided to stop selling drones because of it. Did he see a drop in sales of drones, or
that's what they claim?
Move?
Yeah, they claim that there's not enough places to fly. People are getting bored of flying them, and essentially Gatwick and Heathrow have caused them to stop selling them because they're seeing decline in sales.
Oh Lord!
No, that is
ridiculous.
all BBC spin. They've picked someone specifically who's against drones, and you know they've took quote after quote from them. It's annoying, you know what I mean? Cryptid559, Thank you for joining us. I have just caught up with the chat. I'm just reading through it, making sure I'm reading everybody's comments and whatnot. I don't read them all out, but I like to welcome everybody in. That's cool. I'm just getting a few takes from the chat there. There we go. Look, Love My Drone says BBC is the CNN of the UK. Yes, indeed. You know what I mean? And the BBC is entirely funded by taxpayers as well. Would you believe there's a separate tax altogether called the TV licence in the UK that people have to pay? They have to pay, or you can get all sorts of bad things happen to you. you know, to literally keep the BBC alive, and it's very controversial. And to this day, they're still completely unchallenged. They can put whatever crap they like, you know, on TV, in the news, whatever, and nobody seems to challenge them, just because it's like a British institution, basically. You know what I mean?
Right,
yeah.
right.
PD
right.
Tech says hello. I am Sir, and I said hello to PD Tech, but if I didn't, I do apologise. Hello, PD Tech. I hope you're well. So. This is still getting my back up, Mark, as you can imagine, because...
Oh, yeah, I knew it. As soon as you said you had another Gatwick story, I'm like, oh, boy.
It's just... it just blows my mind. It really does, because all the evidence points towards being no drones. But, you know, the record's not been updated to that end. Rojo Droner, thank you for joining us. I'm just ranting about Gatwick again. And I did say in a previous stream, unless Gatwick comes back up, I'm not going to talk about it. And I've stuck to that. But it's back in the news again as a drone attack, a drone incident, and then touted as, you know, the reason why there's a decline in drone sales and all that lot. It's not. Basically, what it is probably because there was a huge rush of sales leading up to Christmas. John Lewis probably wanted to push a load of them out the door as quick as they could. They had a few left over after Christmas that they couldn't shift because they are expensive. And then they've just used Gatwick as an excuse to just, you know, bag it all off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm good at reading between the lines, and that seems like the most likely solution.
It's a sellout. They're selling out.
Yeah.
They're just selling out. It's ridiculous.
So, Mad Kiwi says Steve has some major shading under his chin. Yes, I do. I do need to have a little trim. That's all good. PD Tech says taking headphones off. Yes, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Mad Kiwi says TV license has been gone from New Zealand for years now. Yes, I wish the British would follow suit and get rid of the TV license. They're absolute thieves. I don't like them one bit. You know, forcing people to buy services. You know what I mean? Say if you didn't want to buy cable TV, but then, you know, this sort of group of quite influential people went, yeah, but you need cable TV, even if you don't use it, and you're going to pay us for it. That don't make any sense. That's exactly what the BBC do. And when they keep putting stupid articles up like this, it makes me dislike them even more.
Yeah.
I was going to say hate,
absolutely.
but hate's a pretty strong word for it. But I strongly dislike and don't condone this type of news article. Right? Yeah. So that's my take. So what's your thoughts on that then, Mark?
Oh, like I said, I think that they're using that as an excuse. I think that, I don't know. It's easy for me to say. I'm not a retailer, but if I were in that, I'd like to think if I were in that position, being that I'm as passionate about drones as I am, I'd be making a push to make it more prevalent, more prominent, and trying to make it a public service. You know, trying to get them to understand that they can be used for good, and I would fight the fight, so to speak. I wouldn't just sell out and say, okay, I quit since everybody's making such a big deal. I try to make it a point and ram that crap down their throat. That just makes me mad that they're just giving up on it. And again, I don't know what the real reason is for it, but I think it's just weak what they're saying. It's just not. It's just unfounded. So it's a shame.
Yeah. So Love My Drone says, watch that hate speech, Steve. Yeah, laughing my butt off. Oh, cluck it. Yeah, I did say I wasn't going to go as far as to say I hate the BBC. I do strongly dislike them. No action is to be taken against the BBC on my word, unless you want to, right? But then I don't condone it. Right? I will say right now I don't condone it, but the BBC is the biggest load of crap. Yeah, there we go. Well, you got to shoot straight, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? And you know, you've got to have your opinion, and the BBC is rubbish. Paul Michael DB agrees. All the shows are rubbish too. The only good thing to come out of the BBC, in my opinion, is Sir David Attenborough. He makes the best nature documentaries there is. World renowned, world loved, and that's the only good thing that comes out of the BBC. Everything else is pure excrement, right? Including these news articles and all the stupid, drone attack programs that put on TV. It's irritating.
I have a
BBC,
question
stop
for you,
it!
though,
You're
Steve.
killing the hobby and giving
Yeah.
an entirely, negative public perception of what is a very innocent, fun hobby. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Now, I got a question for you, Steve. Here in the States, we have a lot of options. I don't know enough about TV in the UK, but do you have options other than the BBC? Or is that pretty much the premier, the only real
Yes.
broadcasting
Let's
network?
go into talking about the BBC real quick. The BBC obviously have been on the go since the dawn of TV, and obviously to fund them.
I remember the Goodies. Oh my God, sorry. I remember the Goodies. It's a show that was on. It just reminds old school. Go ahead.
Yeah, to
Go
fund
ahead.
them
Sorry.
way back, when the first TVs came out, black and white, and to fund them, they didn't used to run adverts. It was just a paid service that people had to pay called a TV license. So when you bought a TV, you had to apply for a TV license, which is still the name of TV tax to this day. And it still goes on. So there's actually BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5. That's the standard 5. And then there's Freeview,
Right.
which is about 30 channels. There's 2 or 3 extra BBC ones. And then there's cable and satellite TV. Then obviously your TV hooks up to the internet for Netflix and Hulu and all them streaming services, YouTube. But essentially, what the BBC want you to do is whenever you buy a TV, whether you've connected it into a TV signal or not, say if you just hook your PC up, you've got no internet, hook your PC up, they'll literally get an enforcement agent to come round, try and tell you that it's their right to come into your house and inspect that you're not receiving a signal from the BBC. Does that sound legal?
That sounds like Big Brother
Does that
to me.
sound legal, though? No. And
no.
literally, if you tell them they have no right to come in your house, they're not allowed in.
Yeah.
Because they're not backed up by it's statute law, not common law, you see. So it's just basically what some rich people have written that they can pass off as laws in courts, basically. But it's
Right,
all
right.
legalese. It's not actual, injury, harm, loss. You don't harm anybody. Nobody lose anything. You don't commit fraud. All the actual common laws in the Magna Carta and that, or what stem from the Magna Carta. This is all just. It's taxation and money law, you know what I mean? So they have no right to come in your house. So if the BBC people show up at your house, especially if you don't live in the UK, right, insist to them that they're not allowed in. They won't do it outside the UK. That was just a joke. Don't let the BBC in your house. Don't, because they're not entitled to come in. I very much dislike the BBC. And recently in the UK, I'm going to end on this. They actually scrapped free TV licenses for old age pensioners. Yeah. And they said, well, we need to make more money and all that lot. So old people now have to pay their own TV license, which is something like £150 a year or something like that. Ridiculous. How are they going to afford that on a state pension? They can barely afford to bloody feed themselves. BBC, you're bloody greedy. And I don't like you one bit. Right, that's enough about the BBC, Mark. Please feel free to express your dislike of the BBC in the chat, and Mark is going to go on to his story. But one second, please, Mark, because I just need to make sure that your Skype audio is in there. So please say hello.
Hello.
Okay, that's working fine. So yes. There we go.
Yes, and in the chat, if somebody doesn't hear, just let Steve know, and we'll have to remedy it. But here's the link to this story that's actually relatively new. Steve and I came across this simultaneously, and he was gracious enough to bow out and let me talk about it. Breaking news: this new drone bill would make airspace over people's homes private property. Here in the States, the FAA likes to claim control over airspace. So essentially, if you jump 2 feet into the air, you're now under the guise and control of the FAA. Well, let's see. Hey, what's up, Mars? How you doing? So basically, a new proposal scheduled to be released from the office of Senator Lee out of Utah, Republican, tomorrow would put the airspace up to 200 feet over private property under the control of the property owner. Therefore, the FAA would have no jurisdiction in that airspace if this passes. Now, as I know, if I'm not mistaken, flying a drone over somebody's house really has never been permitted at low altitudes. It's always been recommended you're above 200 feet. So this shouldn't be that new to people who fly drones responsibly. But this would bar the FAA from being able to do anything to anybody flying a drone under 200 feet. So I'm wondering, and this is speculation, of course, does that mean then that if I have a drone that's 8 pounds and I want to fly it, or even more than that, does it have to be registered if I'm going to fly it within 200 feet above my house? I do not know for sure, but basically, they received a summary of the bill from the senator's office. And again, this is just the FAA relaxing control. I don't know if the FAA is keen on this, but it's just a new how should I say, wrinkle in the jurisdiction that the FAA is trying to claim. And really what this is about also is keeping space available for deliveries, as far as, if Amazon's going to do it. So you're going to have different zones. You can have private zone, then you have from 200 to 400 feet, which would be the corridor, I believe, that people who are flying for deliveries would be able to use. And you're not going to want to fly within 200 feet of anybody's home anyway. So it's just a new regulation that has come out. It says, with the growth of civil drones, preemption is being challenged again. In 2015, the FAA released a fact sheet to state governments advising that the FAA had exclusive regulatory control over the airspace. Since then, a series of challenges have led the FAA to soften their stance, and they are trying to work with state, tribal, and local governments in cooperation over drone legislation through programs like the UAS Integration Pilot Program. The bill is the latest in a series of bipartisan bills that want to establish state, tribal, and local government jurisdiction over low altitude airspace. So if this passes, if this all goes to plan, local governments, townships, city governments and stuff are going to be really what's going to control that airspace, along with the person, whoever's home that you're within 200 feet of. So it's just an interesting wrinkle, like I said. I'm trying to think of anything else that this article pertains to, but it's something to pay attention to, because that is just going to lend itself to us having to just add more variables to how we fly and what we have to be careful about. So I don't know. Right now, Steve, are there any laws about how low you can fly with regards to private residences in the UK? Is there anything similar to that?
The general law in the UK is you're not allowed to fly in congested areas. That covers anything, from 3 to 5 houses or more. That includes busy roads. It also includes things like busy railway lines and things like that. But if it's just a single house in the middle of nowhere, you've got a legit space to take off from, some public land, or you've got permission to take off, you need to stay at least 50 metres above the highest point of a private property. And as long as you're not doing anything like surveillance of the property, and you're not loitering there, not like directly filming the property and making a big show of it, you're flying within the law. Because obviously that one property, it'd just be a big barrier to an entire area otherwise. You know what I mean? Yeah.
As far as I know, this I mean, if you're flying a drone over somebody's house, I always stay within reasonable height so that nobody can claim I'm spying on them. Even with the Mavic 2 zoom at 200, 300 feet, you can't zoom in enough to be able to spy on somebody, let's say. And this does not, as far as I know, affect the height restriction. You're still only going to be allowed to fly up to 400 feet. But if you fly between 200 and 400 feet above somebody's home, you should be okay. But again, what this is saying is that it's really going after commercial and hobbyist drone flyers. They're talking about actually having established zoning for takeoffs, where you can actually get charged if you want to fly your drone. You may actually have to go to an area and pay to launch your drone from that area, so then you can fly wherever you want. Now, I mean, that's going the other direction, or I should say the worst case scenario. But I'm curious to see how this plays out, and how detailed of a law this is going to be, and how this is really going to affect it. But essentially, the article does say that this is going to add a new dilemma to especially the hobbyists, and we need to keep our eye on it and see what's going to happen with this law. So, yeah, it's an interesting article. Again, I pasted it in the link. I pasted it in the chat, I believe, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. A bit far back. So if
yeah,
you want that
and-
article, scroll up for it.
I'll
If
paste
not,
it
Mark
again.
will put it back in again. It is
I'll
like
put it
2
in
good
there
scrolls up. Yeah.
There you go. There, it's in there again. So take a look at it, and it is from Drone Life. This is a news a web-based news agency pertaining to drones that Steve and I get a lot of our stories from. So we got to give credit where credit's due, and it's a good article. It's worth a read, and you want to just stay on top of these laws as they keep coming out every day. Apparently,
Yes, the
So.
drone laws seem to just, these lawmakers just seem to make it up as they go along. And there's no precedent for it. There's no real reason for it. The only real reason is, I think, already the hobbyist flyers are starting to get squeezed out of the air because they can see the money that's going to be made from UPS, Amazon, whoever else wants to make, these massive drone fleets to deliver parcels and stuff are already jockeying for the airspace, and they're trying to get the hobbyists out the air either by these fake news articles on the BBC. I'm going to call it fake news. I don't care if it's defamation or whatever you want to call it, but it is completely trying to spin the negative bias on the hobbyists, bring out stupid new laws that makes it pretty much impossible to fly anywhere, and even if you do, you've got to stick to this height in this area and all that lot, because now the air above your head is now all being monetized by these private companies. I don't like the sound of that one bit. It is a precursor to getting hobbyists out the air, mate. Little bit by little bit. Now you see, if you want to change the law and you want it to be a set thing, and it's you'll get backlash from that. Don't go straight in with that. Just incrementally make it a bit more towards your end goal, bit by bit, and then people aren't as shocked when they finally get to that end goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, these laws don't hurt the people that are doing the bad things. They only hurt the people that are responsible drone flyers, and I can't stress that enough. If you want to make this a better hobby, if you want to make it safer, then find a way to target the troubled people, not the people who are trying to do this the correct way. I mean, I do everything I can, from making phone calls, getting proper clearance, getting my having my 107. I'm doing everything possible, and they're making it more difficult to enjoy the sport, or the activity. It's just it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it is quite deflating what's going on at the minute. But obviously, there is petitions and things like that, but obviously petitions can only do so much. It won't surprise me that within about 2 years, the air's going to be full. Not full, but, you're going to regularly see delivery drones, things like that, and hobbyists are going to have a tough time being able to take off from anywhere. There we go. Mad Kiwi says, majority used to rule, not anymore. It's the Cotton Wool Brigade. Yeah, and it's the money makers making the laws. That's the thing.
Right.
Does it make money? Yes. Does it kill a legit, fun hobby for a lot of people? Yes. Which one wins? That's which one wins out in the end? It's always going to be the money thing, innit? Do you know what I mean? Because people are greedy.
I'm going to tell you the group of people to watch if the laws get more strict with regards to drones are going to be your FPV flyers. They're going to be your rogue flyers, and they're going to say, to hell with it. We're going to fly when we want to fly, how we want to fly. If you want to be that restrictive, then we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to do what we want to do, and then we're going to see some trouble. We're going to see some trouble. So I hate to think of it that way, but I think that they're not going to take this one lying down. You're going to have a hard time getting FPVers to stop flying their drones. I'm going to tell you that right now. So
okay. So Mars FPV says, do wrong in England flying a drone. First time warning, second time fine, third time jail. Ridiculous. I'm not sure of any instance. Please let me know of an instance or something. As far as I know, in the UK, it is quite lenient for people flying drones. The police have got bigger fish to fry. unless you're getting stabbed on your doorstep, they're not even going to show up, basically. So
Right.
for someone flying a drone, they generally don't bother. There was a story we covered a couple of weeks ago, and some guy was flying over a congested area. He'd put it on the internet, and the police apparently just got in touch with him and told him not to do it anymore, flying like that. That was apparently how it went. No formal action, just a chat over the internet, apparently, just saying you shouldn't be flying like that. Please don't do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mars seems to agree with me. Apparently, that's happening in Australia right now. That the FPV flyers are, they're okay, you're going to levy all these laws. Screw it. Then we're just going to break all the laws.
Yeah. Mars FPV says they are your new laws in England. The new laws haven't come in yet. They're not actually finalised. As far as I know, they're not finalised. But that does lead me nicely into my next article, if you're ready for it. So
I'm ready for it.
Okie dokie. So your audio, Mark, just test it, mate. Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
that should be fine. Hopefully,
Okay.
I don't know why the audio's gone really funny tonight. So
Okay.
what we're on with here is a new article. This is from the Register. It is from the 11th, but it does, whatever. I know I have been reading some of these new laws coming in the UK about drone flying, but like I say, it remains to be seen, and I'm pretty sure that most or some of them won't actually come in. Right, so this is the story. It's from the Register. I've linked the article in the chat there, and I'll read a fair bit because this is pretty outrageous. Criminalise British drone flyers, snarl MPs amid crackdown demands. Geo-blocking, weaponisation and more in parliamentary committees' sites. So this parliamentary committee, if you remember a few weeks ago, we covered the story of the guy who's the head of NATS, which is a governing body about unmanned aerial vehicles, and he called all drone flyers clueless, careless or criminal. And is the head
guy.
of the governing body regarding it. Ugh. He must know that there is 99.9%, honest, legal flyers. Why he's come out with that, I don't know. It just seems to be another part of the campaign. So anyway, I'll start reading this article then. The British government should make it a crime to disable geofencing. I don't know why, because if you actually buy a product, you're allowed to modify it however you like. It's your product. As long as you don't break the law with it, you're doing fine. So you can buy a games console. An entire landmark case went through about 2 years ago where I think it was Sony actually tried prosecuting somebody for modifying their PlayStation 3 console with jailbreak, cracked firmware and all that lot, and they lost. And the case was, it was basically, if you buy a product, is it actually yours? Can you do what you want with it? And the case came out, yes, indeed you can. So you can modify your own console as long as you're not downloading pirate games, as long as you're not breaking the law. You can modify your own stuff as much as you like. It's your stuff. You paid money for it. You own it. Right, okay. So the British government should make it a crime to disable geofencing, right, and electronic conspicuity on one's drone. So I think that means the signals it gives off and whatnot. According to MPs from a parliamentary committee looking at future drone regulation, in a report issued today, Parliament's Science and Technology Committee demanded the government issue a white paper, which is a formal policy proposal, setting out a raft of new crimes intended to stop people from flying small drones. Well, it's okay making new laws, but can you enforce them? That's the problem.
Yeah.
Within that white paper, said the STC, ought to be plans for criminalising the weaponisation of drones. We've already heard about this a few times. It seems like they're trying to make a big point about that, like everyone's strapping handguns and AK-47s to the drones, when really they're not. As well as making it a criminal offence not to register one's craft with the government, which ties in well, doesn't it, to the bloody CAA's, the Civil Aviation Authority's new registration thing that they're bringing out, which is has to be renewed every year, and it's going to be a big money spinner for them. Oh, they're going to absolutely love that, making it illegal not to. You're as bad as the bloody BBC, right? And I'm doing my best not to swear on that one. Okay, other new criminal offences to be aimed at drone users, according to their MP, should include the capturing of an individual's data without their consent. Yeah, because everyone's doing that. Despite well-founded criticism of the CAA over its plans to build a money-making database for registering drone users, the MPs also thought it'd be clever to call for a compulsory renewal of drone operators' licences to ensure they're up to date with technology advances and legislative changes. Okay, yeah, it's going to be a big money spinner. So far, nobody's registered. Global fatality count of the hobbyist drone user, 0. Right, okay. Minor injuries here and there, so a couple of cut fingers. That's about it. It also called for all drones, including new and existing ones, to be electronically conspicuous within 2 years, so give off a signal to let everybody know where they are. Given how small many drones are and how low their useful payloads are, this is likely to cause more economic harm to the drone sector, particularly craft incapable of carrying current aviation spec conspicuity tech such as ADSB out transmitters or FLAM. I'm willing to bet they're applying that to the FPV drone flyers more than anything, where it's custom builds, usually sub 50. They're about this big, mini whoops and all that lot. Marc knows all about them. I'm not too up to date with the FPV stuff. The small commercial drone sector is likely to interpret the STC's list as demands as a hostile government imposing more regulatory and financial burdens in the hope of snuffing them out for good. This is an agenda. You've seen it. It's happening. And now actual news articles which aren't, specifically drone biased in any way are actually reporting this quite honestly, which is good. So good on the register for actually pointing that one out. It's not very often you get that. At the start of the year, government ministers promised a crackdown on families playing with toy drones in their gardens.
Oh, Lord, my God.
Haven't they got anything better to do? What can we do today to annoy everybody? I'll tell you what really gets my back up. That kid next door with that drone, right? And he just flies it around his bloody garden for 5 minutes, and then he has to go and charge it, and then he's back out 2 hours later for another 5 minutes. Oh, it angers me, it does. Ban it all. Ban kids having fun.
Yeah. I think kids should just go back to doing what they used to do and just painting graffiti on people's houses and breaking windows. What do you think?
So, yeah, exactly. Steve Carpenter, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us once again. It is an absolute pleasure, mate. Awesome stuff. So the drones bill, long awaited, has still not appeared before Parliament, with officials making accidental slips of the tongue and branding drone flyers as clueless, careless or criminal. It is a small wonder that the nascent industry feels put upon. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what nascent means, but that's cool. The report also insists on citing an economic benefit figure of 42 billion, which was plucked out of thin air, but that's been crossed out. Forecast by PricewaterhouseCoopers analysts, as previously reported by the Register. This would make the UK drone industry bigger than the combined manufacturing sectors of Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and South West England, and is therefore total nonsense. Not that this stops people who should know better from doing it. So this is the article. That does end there. Right? I'm going to relink that because this one really irritated me. Good on the Register. I praise you for an honest, unbiased, maybe slightly biased towards drones on this one, but mostly unbiased report about what the government seem to be trying to do, about kids having fun in the garden with drones.
I mean, Mad Kiwi says the kid next door kicking his ball against the fence does his head in.
Ban kids.
Well, that's it. I think we should make balls illegal.
Ban kids. Ban drones, ban footballs, ban bicycles for people under the age of 18, and you need a licence for that now as well, because more people die on bikes than they do flying drones, right? The world's gone mad about drones. It's gone absolutely mad, and it's all unfounded. Absolutely unfounded. And it is doing my head in as to why all of this is going on. You know what I mean?
I mean, you bring up a good point. You mentioned it on the previous story. I mean, with all these rules and regulations, you'd think that these people have a plan for enforcing it. Are they going to set up a whole new police force just called the drone police?
They
Seriously,
already exist
where,
on Facebook.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, on Facebook. But I'm just saying, I can see now a force of like 80 people in a city. I work for the police. Well, what's your division? I'm on drone patrol.
Yeah.
I'm going after kids who are flying drones in their gardens. I mean, there's no way they're going to enforce all these laws. Unfortunately, there's going to be a few people who are going to be made an example of, but in the process, they're never ever going to be able to enforce all these laws. It's impossible. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a logistical nightmare. It's unrealistic, and they don't even realize it, and that's the sad thing.
Yeah, well, just anecdotally, I often go into these things and call upon my own experience. About 2-3 days ago, there's a street not far from my house. I could walk there in about 2 minutes. Some guy had just moved in. The neighbours took a dislike to him, and he got stabbed 20 times on his doorstep, and it took the police half an hour to arrive. What about some kid flying a drone in his garden? If you rang up the police and went, police, yes. What's the emergency? That's them on the phone. There's a kid flying a drone in his garden. Can you come round and tell him off? And I think the answer would be, we've got better things to be doing, sunshine. Go tell him yourself.
Yeah.
Come on. Jog on. We've got stabbings to deal with here, and you're moaning about some kid having fun. Right? You can bugger off. Yeah. That is me just ranting away now.
Mark my words, we
like
have a police drone department.
Highlight, it's pure hypocrisy. It is. It is pure hypocrisy. They claim to be in everyone's good interests. You know,
it's hypocrisy, and it's ignorance too. It's just flat out sheer ignorance on their part. It really is.
If a whole slew of these new drone laws come out in the UK next year, I'll do a special stream where I denounce my citizenship. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And that's how the stream will go. I'm sick of it. I'm out. Right.
Mad Kiwi says, Steve, take a breath. Count to 10, will you?
Yeah. Okay. PD Tech says, it sounds funny, but mark my words, we already have a drone police department here in the UK. Yes, we do. They are on Facebook. And I believe a lot of that is, a lot of them are shills. I'm sure of it. They will attack anybody. Mad Kiwi says, take a breath, Steve, lol, count to 10. Yeah, I know. I was going on a bit of a mad one there, but you can tell how much it's irritating me, and I'm sure without a lot of people in the drone community speaking about it, I've spoke to a few people actually, and they tell me how annoyed they are.
Right.
But without saying it, I'm happy to say it. I don't really care, but I'm annoyed at the UK Parliament for basically putting all this on drone flyers. Like, I'd literally ask them to go, without saying Gatwick, because that didn't happen, and the Heathrow pause thing, because that didn't actually happen either. What bad things have actually come from drone use in the UK? And I don't really think they'd be able to answer that with anything beyond some guy was flying over a busy area or something.
The only argument they could possibly come up with is not that there's things that have happened. They're doing this to prevent the bad things from happening. This is all in the attempts to make sure that nothing bad happens because of drone use. That's the only argument they could possibly come up with. They have no evidence to suggest that bad things are happening with drones right now. I mean, yes, a few things are happening, but nothing like any. I mean, all other sports and activities have their issues. Let's face it.
Sorry, I've got to respond to that comment from Mad Kiwi there. It says UK has had sex. It's F
yes
F hashtag
FCKD.
I don't want to swear on my stream. I don't mind it in the chat.
Clucked.
It don't matter. Don't bother me.
You can use hen's language. It's clucked.
Yeah, absolutely clucked beyond disbelief. Yeah. So yeah, that's my final thoughts on that. I don't think I did mean it about renouncing my citizenship. That came off a bit strong, but I would absolutely tear him a new bumhole on a live stream about what they're going to do to the hobby, and obviously my stance from that point onwards would be hostile towards them. You know, completely denouncing anything they say as absolute trash, right? Because a lot of that they're coming out with in Parliament is trash. They're a bunch of out of touch old dudes who don't know what the hell they're talking about, and as far as I care, they can jog on, right? I don't think they can jog, but never mind.
Crazy.
Right, I shouldn't make jokes like that, you know what I mean? But when people get you back up like that, it's annoying. PD Tech says, if they criminalise model aircraft flying here in the UK, I'm out. I'll claim political asylum to somewhere else. Yeah, without going too political, yeah, that's it, you know. Mexico, where I go, Honda-lay, yeah. Okay, right, Mark, do we have time for another story? I'm sure we do. What have you got? What have you got brewing for us?
I got this one here. I just linked it into the chat. It's another one from Drone Life. It's Andurel's Interceptor. We've talked about anti-drone technology. And again, I am not opposed to anti-drone technology to getting people out of the air that shouldn't be doing what they're doing. I mean, they're the ones that are causing the problems for those of us who are law-abiding. So basically, it says Andurel's, it's a technology startup founded by Palmer Luckey, the man who said who sold Oculus to Facebook in 2014 and then left the social media giant under a cloud in 2017, has a novel approach to the problem of rogue drones. Now, there's a picture of it right there. Now, we've seen technology where they jam the signal or they can force it to land. We've even seen nets being used to capture drones. This one is a complete, how should I say, offensive attack on drones that shouldn't be flying where they should be flying. And I strongly recommend, I can't play it here because it's probably proprietary. So if you go to the link, there is a video, a fairly dramatic video of a wing, a fixed wing aircraft, particularly a wing flying around. And what this drone does is it hones in, it takes off, and they have a fleet of them. If you look at the video, one of them takes off, and it hones in on the actual aircraft, and it doesn't shoot it out of the sky. It collides with it on purpose, and it is meant to take a beating because in this video, it literally takes the wing off of the fixed wing aircraft and actually returns home, and sustaining no damage at all. So this is a kamikaze styled. And they even refer to it as a kamikaze-styled drone attack vehicle, if you will. It will just go and bash into the drone and take it right out of the sky. I mean, we've seen ones where they actually capture it and bring it back to a pre-designated location where they can take the serial number. They don't care about that. They're taking it out, and it's a fairly dramatic video. So I recommend you go and take a look at this thing. It's pretty impressive. It says rather than seek to jam or take control of the drone that are flying where they shouldn't, Andurel's Interceptor takes a brute force approach. It's aimed to collide kamikaze style with the drone in question. It can reach speeds of in excess of 100 miles per hour, and harnesses the company's computer vision technology to home on its target. There's usually only one outcome, they say. And yes, if you watch the video, you'll see it. Now, they did it with a fixed wing, and some of those are usually made of some sort of polystyrene or some sort of styrofoam. I get that, but I can only imagine what it would look like if this thing collided with, let's say, a Mavic 2 or even a Phantom or something like that. It's going to make a mess, and that's their idea. And you don't just have one of these, you have a bunch of them. So if one goes down, you send the next one up. So it's a pretty impressive piece of technology, and it's out there. So again, if you watch the video, you'll see how well it works according to their standards and whatnot. So again, there's big business in anti-drone technology, and sadly enough, people are going to buy this stuff, but I don't think you're going to see them used as often as they would hope. I think it's just more panic than anything else. Oh, we better have some technology to take out drones. They're going to make money selling this stuff, and they're going to rarely use it. I can almost guarantee you that. But if they need to, apparently it works very well. So take a look at it. You'll get a kick out of it, and it's a neat little article. So that's the latest that I came across in anti-drone technology.
Yeah, I think that's more scaremongering than anything else. That's sort of like alongside all the threats of this new drone legislation, it's like, yeah, this will be what's coming for you. Yeah, how do you like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like a dog on a leash that's just...
And and if you're flying a drone where it doesn't belong, then you deserve to have it shot out of the sky like that. As far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned,
like let's say, yeah, useful around airports, military bases, prisons. Yeah, brilliant. For the average Joe, not so good, right? Because they'll literally be doing that for a laugh, won't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd be honest with you. I'd love to have one of these things. Not that I plan. I don't know. I wouldn't be taking anybody's drone out of the sky with it. But this thing's a beast. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can manually control it. I think it's all automated and it uses its own technology to home in on the target. But I mean, that'd make a sweet drone just to fly around.
But the thing is, though, that if it's on the demonstration video, if it's hit a fixed wing, they have a generally easy pattern to actually track, even if they're taking evasive maneuvers. Whereas something like an FPV flyer can literally just turn on a dime, go any direction it likes at any moment. I think that would have trouble keeping up with an FPV flyer shooting through windows in an abandoned building.
I think you're absolutely right on that. But your FPV flyers are flying for fun. I don't think. Again, I'm speculating. I don't think you're going to see too many FPVers who are out there doing surveillance with their FPV drones. Because the cameras on them are good, but they're not like Matrice good. So it'd be curious. Just keep your eye out for it. Let's see how many people start flying these things around, protecting the sky, so to speak.
That's the thing, isn't it? Right. I think we've covered that one pretty well. I'd like to end the show on a positive drone news story, so I'll get on with that.
Absolutely.
I'll get on with that now. Let me just link this article in there. We do like to cover the good as well as the bad, and obviously lined up, we are hitting the 1 hour mark now. We will go over just to cover this last story and let Marc plug his new video, his premiere thing after this. I do have a whole slew of other stories. We are talking about possibly doing another bonus stream on Saturday night. That would be on my channel this time. Call it a 13.5 to cover all the stories we didn't manage to get through on Wednesday. Generally, more gossip goes on and things like that, just general banter, as it were. Wednesday night we try and stick a bit more strictly to the drone news, which is all good. But anyway, right, there may be a Saturday night show. I'll announce that. It's also a good time for me to plug my Facebook page. AV UK, that's Aerial Views and Histories UK Facebook page. I will show that really quick. Please search me. That's the exact thing you look for on Facebook. Please find me. So obviously it gives you notifications when I'm about to stream. I also give exclusive first access to videos, heads up, and occasionally I do like the odd vote where people can pick what they want to see next or ideas, things for the channel. I'm all about community driven content, all them sort of buzzwords, keeps people interested and excited, doesn't it? You know what I mean? But please go check out my Facebook page. It's right there, Aerial Views and Histories UK. Just by searching AV UK right there like that. I'll copy that and put it in the chat. Please come find me. If I put the Facebook link in, it's probably not going to work very well. You know what I mean? Just saying. But please check me out. And obviously you can contact me directly on there as well if you ever fancy a chat. And I speak to a lot of people through there who I've met on YouTube and met a lot of good friends. So that's all positive as well. So yeah, I'll relink this article. Now I've just plugged my Facebook page. And we'll finish on a positive note. This drone may restore comms after disasters. So I'm just going to paraphrase it a little bit. I read this article earlier. So this is a VTOL drone, which is a vertical takeoff and landing. So it can take off directly up. It can act as a fixed wing or a quad style drone. So it can do both, which is very, very interesting. And what it'll do is in disaster scenarios, say floods, landslides, earthquakes, volcanoes, typhoons after they've actually passed, hurricanes and things like that. What it'll do is the operator will find high ground, and what it'll do is it'll actually be controlled to go land on high ground, and inside it actually has loads of transmitters and receivers for things like phone signals, internet, GPS, and then obviously that helps coordinate relief efforts for everybody, you know what I mean, who's there in the disaster zone. That's including the relief workers and innocent people who are getting caught up in all this madness. And I think that is a very, very positive use of drones to finish the show on. Obviously, if you want to read more, I've linked it in there. I will relink it again. That's all good. Mad Kiwi says he's sent me a message on Facebook. As soon as I've done the stream and we've watched Marc's premiere and all that lot, I'll get straight on Facebook and I'll respond to your comment, mate. That is much appreciated. For anybody else, just search AVUK. It's just in the chat there, AVAH space UK. There we go. And then find my Facebook page and you can chat to me on there. And I check that every day so your messages don't go don't go missed and all that lot. And I upload all sorts on there, little behind the scenes bits I don't put on YouTube, little videos for people. I'm just constantly plugging my own channel now. That's cool. So Marc, in the background, yes. Do you want to get your premiere ready and get that link sorted? Remember, we may be doing a stream on Saturday night. This is why I talked about Facebook, because I will be announcing it on Facebook, you see, on there directly. So it's brilliant, and I'll announce that once I 100% know whether it's on or off. I'll put on either way whether it is or isn't going on, and that'll be by Saturday morning. So there'll be a good 16 hours notice, you know what I mean, for it, and I'll say whether it's on or off. But I really want to do another Saturday night show.
Yeah,
really want to do another one. That was really fun on Saturday. Also, if you haven't checked it out just yet, on mine and Marc's channel, on both channels, there's a playlist of every single drone news live show, every 1 hour show in a playlist, so you can watch them all back. We have a laugh, we talk about drone news stories, we have a good rant when it's necessary, we call out people when they're misbehaving. Good stuff. So, Marc, do you have this premiere ready?
Yes, I'm going to hit premiere now. And for those of you who don't know, I've never done a premiere before, so hopefully I pull this off. So I've gone and hit it, and let's see, premiere now. Let's see, your video will play as soon as it is processed.
Yeah. Keep hitting your link on it, mate, and then as soon as you've got that link, put it in the chat for everybody. And what I hope to do is, once everybody's gone over to the premiere, I'll end the stream. But for now, I'll say thank you, everybody, for joining us. Mad Kiwi, I'll be in touch with you within half an hour to an hour or so. That's cool, and we'll have a chat, mate. I really look forward to that. Anybody else wants to message me through Facebook, also feel free. I'm easygoing, you know what I mean, friendly. And I know a lot about a lot, not just drones, not just history. A lot about a lot, So you want to get in touch, get to know me a bit more, that's all good. Geeks Varner, thank you for coming in. Sorry you're late, you'll catch up on the replay. That's all good. Thank you for joining us. I haven't watched your Ford drone video yet. I noticed that earlier. I'm quite busy at the minute. I've got a few things going on in the background, but I will get to that. We did have the story, but we knew that you'd covered it, so we sort of shuffle that one to the back, do you know what I mean, in case... whatever, we've been talking about a lot of good stuff tonight. Have you got that link yet, Marc?
Yeah, I've already posted it.
Okay. Right, everybody, please go over to Marc's video. I will open that in a new tab over here and keep...
I hope it works.
No, it's just uploaded as untitled.
But is it working? Is it something people can watch?
Yes, but it's still on unlisted.
Oh, let me redo it then, because I had it as public.
Okay, please don't click on that link just yet.
It says public and premiere, and I don't know
premiere
why.
Premiere now, is that what it's saying?
It's saying your video will play as soon as it's processed, but...
Well, that makes no sense. I ran through this with you earlier.
Yep.
Oh, dearie me. Let me just have a quick look what's actually going on here, because I'm keen to get you that premiere.
Yeah,
right. So it's saying premiere now, right?
I click on it.
Premiere now.
And it's not doing anything.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
It says your video will play as soon as it's processed.
Okay.
Whatever that means. So I don't get it.
Me. Yeah, it's playing as a video, mate. That's all good. Okay, so I think that premiere has not gone as planned because by now the views are actually going up and so are the likes.
Oh, it says invalid request authentication expired. Do I have to redo it?
I don't know. Yeah, essentially, I don't think it's going to work now because it might have like published for a split second or something, and then it don't let you premiere it. But that's all good.
Okay, well, if it's published, people can go and watch it then.
So please check out Marc's link to his new video. We was going to premiere it, but that's fell flat on its face. But please go check out his video. Please go check out his channel. Like I say, check out my Facebook page, AV UK. I'll type that in real quick. Search me on Facebook. Add me on there. You know, you can talk to me and I'll let you know about the stream on Saturday. I'll let you know by Saturday morning UK time because I really want to do another bonus stream. That was a lot of fun last Saturday. If you don't catch that, next Wednesday, we do this stream every week. So that'll be next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 11 p.m. UK time. That is so ingrained in my memory now after 13 weeks. Really, really good. That'll be on Marc's channel. So if you haven't got him, please go visit his channel. Go subscribe to him, you know what I mean, watch his videos and all that lot, and check everybody else out in the chat. That's how we like to do things. Once again, go check Marc's video. We was trying to premiere that, but
I think I have it. I think I have it scheduled.
Yeah.
So let's give it a go again.
Okay.
Premiere. I just had to go into edit and change it from. This is wonderful. Scheduled October 7/10. It should be premiering.
Let me see. Let me refresh. Oh, yes. Okay, right. Yeah. Please stick around with us. We will keep speaking to everybody. That's how we like to do it. Marc's video is going to premiere. I've got the link. It's the same.
Yeah, please put it in.
It's the same link,
yeah.
right? But now, it will premiere. That's much better. And then you can catch us in the chat for...
There it goes. It's starting now.
Yeah, okay. Right, so... Everybody, thank you. That's got a 2-minute timer on it. Please join us over on Marc's video for the premiere. We'll be, talking to you in the chat. It's about 6 or 7 minutes long. That's all good. Yep. Get in touch with me on Facebook. Check Marc's channel. It's been a great stream again, and it's good. It's good for me because it gives me a chance to take all of that rage and vent it at the right people. You know what I mean? So that's good. It's very therapeutic, this weekly stream. It's doing me a lot of good.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Well, thanks again, everybody, for coming in. And if we do a Saturday night stream, it'll be on your channel, Steve.
Yes.
And otherwise, next Wednesday, it'll be back on my channel. So
yes. So once again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Join us over in Marc's premiere. I'm going to put the stream outro on and keep putting the link on there. Geeks Varna, awesome, mate. Thank you very much. Everybody who's in PD Tech, take care all. Take care to you, buddy. EBR FPV, thanks, guys. It was nice again. I'm going to re-put Marc's link in there. Catch us Saturday night. Check me on Facebook. If not, we'll catch you on Marc's channel next Wednesday. I keep repeating that while Marc was trying to get his premiere on the go. That's all good, but that's how we like to do things. Thanks everybody for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the news. Hope you've enjoyed our take on the news, my rant about Gatwick once again, and I'll catch you all on Saturday, if not Wednesday. All the best, everybody.
Have a good night, folks. See you next week or on Saturday.